You should see the red button come up saying we're live. And we're live. Okay, so let me just kind of situate myself here. I'm gonna just wait a couple seconds for people to pop in since we're streaming too. Let me put a post in here. Go to StreamYard.com to give Facebook permission. Show your comments. So we are live we're streaming to YouTube, but the posts are also on Facebook. So there should be a lot of people watching from the link on Facebook, which connects to YouTube. Yep. So, yep. All right. So for those of you who are watching, welcome. My name is Gina Wells, and I'm here with Giselle Boxer, and I'm going to introduce her in a little bit, but she's my special guest, and I want to thank you, Giselle, for accepting my invite to come on and talk about your product. But let me introduce myself for a minute, because a lot of people may not necessarily know who I am, even though I've done quite a lot of live streams. But I'm the founder of Sage and Timely Enterprises, which is a nature-based company for transformational healing, working with plant medicine, plant healers, as well as with the sacred. And I'm always looking for different alternative complementary therapies, however we want to look at them, for my community, because the people within my community are looking for modalities other than just pharmaceuticals to heal. By my community, I'm talking about the lupus community or the autoimmunity community. A lot of people within my community have been diagnosed with lupus or Sjogren's or rheumatoid arthritis or one of those autoimmune conditions that involves a lot of joint pain, a lot of other side effects, and a lot of the times there are other conditions that kind of piggyback onto one diagnosis. So we're always looking for different and alternative remedies that people can work with. And over the years, I myself have worked with a lot of different modalities. So when I was, I don't want to say in a bad place, but I was in a challenging spot a few weeks ago, with a bad case of tinnitus, and I was looking for other things that could help, because a lot of stuff that I tried helped a little bit and then it would come back. And as I was scrolling through Instagram one day, I came upon this, I'm just going to say this post popped up about this item called Acu Seeds. So I said, okay, let me see what this is about. And it was by Giselle Boxer. Her company is called Acu Seeds. So I reached out to her and I said, I'm really curious. This is really interesting. And would you be okay with me interviewing you? So she said yes, thankfully. And I have her on the show today. So I'm going to introduce Giselle Boxer. I would love for you to tell us a little bit about yourself and first of all, exactly what air seeds or Acu Seeds, there's a certain terminology that it's linked with related to Chinese medicine. So if you can talk about that a little bit, but tell us, who is Giselle Boxer?
Hi everybody. I'm Giselle Boxer and I'm nearly 30 years of age. I have a young baby and have recently started a company called Acu Seeds, selling ear acupressure seeds. And the reason I sort of started the business and came into the wellness industry is because I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome in about 2019. And unfortunately, when I went to see Western doctors, they all told me that I would never recover and there was no treatment and that I would have this condition for life. However, exactly 12 months after my diagnosis, I actually made a full recovery using alternative medicine, diet, supplementation, but most importantly, Chinese medicine. So I used acupuncture, Chinese herbal remedies, and ear seeds. And I believe that these wellness tools managed to skyrocket my recovery from chronic fatigue syndrome, and therefore just fell in love with Chinese medicine and what the different tools can do for you and chronic illnesses. So yeah, that's the story why I started.
I know that. Go ahead and say hi in the chat. I can actually see the chat from here. And if you've ever worked with air seeds, I would love to hear your experience. Post a comment saying, yes, I've done it. Giselle is amazing. You know, I'd love to hear your feedback on the air seeds as well if you've worked with them, because it's going to definitely help someone out there who maybe is hearing about this for the first time and is looking for something like this to help with whatever condition. And we'll talk about certain things later on as to what air seeds can help with. But when we were talking last week, you mentioned something about the ear and what it kind of represents, and that was really interesting. The shape of the ear. Can you talk a little bit about that and what the ear looks like and how it relates to the rest of the body?
Yeah, sure. So in Chinese medicine, it's believed that the ear is a microsystem of the whole body. So there are points on the ear that correspond to different body parts and organs. And I've got this chart here, and it shows all the different acupuncture points on the ear, of which there are about 200. And here at the bottom, so basically in Chinese medicine, the ear is seen as like an inverted fetus, where here is the head and then up here are the toes. So within the ear, there are different points that correspond to different body parts. And when they are used with acupuncture or acupressure, they can help with a variety of different health conditions and symptoms.
So we have Kathleen who's watching from Trinidad and Tobago, and she says she's never heard of this. So I'm really glad that we could bring this to you, and hopefully, you know, by the end of this, you'll have a little bit more knowledge around what air seeds are. Because I personally hadn't even heard of them. Even though I've done acupressure on the ear, and I'd considered things like getting that piercing that was done, you know, through that cartilage, because one of the things a lot of people don't know about me is that I was diagnosed with tinnitus many years ago, and tinnitus is with me even right now as we speak. I can hear the ringing. Some days are worse than others, but I also was diagnosed with what's called ice pick headaches, and it literally sounds like the name. It's for about 10 seconds, it feels like someone is stabbing me in the head with an ice pick. And then it just vanishes. I scream for a little while, I cry, and then it just goes away as quickly as it comes. And my neurologist said, well, you could do that piercing that a lot of people do, but because of the type of headache, you don't necessarily, you know, you never know when it's going to come on. Now, at the time, I was having about 5 a month, which is, according to the neurologist, very little, because he worked with people who have maybe 50 a month, and he said he really couldn't do anything for me, but so he suggested the piercing. But then I've been told that the piercing takes forever to heal, and I wasn't sure I really wanted to shove a needle through the cartilage, you know, because I mean, pain is not a problem for me, but I just didn't want to go that route. So this is definitely an alternative. So Kathleen, you're going to learn just as much as I'm going to learn about this today. And at the end, we're going to share with you where you can get these air seeds from. So you mentioned about you basically got started because of your experience with chronic fatigue syndrome. How did you hear about the air seeds?
Yeah.
I know because you tried other things before, and then you found the air seeds. So how did you hear about the air seeds?
Yeah, so my Chinese doctor who was helping me with acupuncture and Chinese herbal remedies, she recommended using ear seeds in between appointments, in between acupuncture appointments, because they basically can like treat you whilst you're at home and whilst you're not in clinic with her. So acupressure ear seeds are a needle-free type of acupuncture. So they work in a similar way, but what they do is they apply pressure on the ear on certain acupuncture points. And what this does is it does two things really. It firstly sends like an abundant flow of qi, which is life energy in Chinese medicine, to the area of the body that needs support. But then they also, so the ear has actually loads and loads of nerve endings on it. And when you apply pressure to certain points on the ear, it can then send messages to the brain that certain body parts or organs need help. And this in turn releases endorphins into the bloodstream and helps to relax your nervous system. So yeah, that's a little bit about what acupressure ear seeds are. And they are really, really tiny metal balls, which are we have gold plated and silver plated ear seeds. And what you do is you peel them off. They are attached to like an adhesive sticker, and you peel them off and then you place them on different acupuncture points. So if you can see here, they're really, really small and really subtle. But today I've got the points in for focus and memory, because I've had a very, very busy day doing lots and lots of work and just wanted something to kind of boost my concentration, help me focus a bit more. And then obviously this evening we've got this live stream. So they've worked really, really well today, and I'm really pleased. But you can
Yeah.
also use them for loads of different things, really. They've been used, studies have shown they've been really effective for anxiety, for stress, for headaches. Lots of our customers say how amazing their sleep has been since they've started using ear seeds, because they really relax the nervous system and get your body into parasympathetic mode rather than sympathetic mode. They can also be used for digestive issues, for chronic pain, PTSD, tinnitus, a whole variety really.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about as well, because I've been reading through some of the reviews, and I want to read some of that so you guys can get an idea of just how many different protocols there are. And this lady, she's a yoga instructor. She used the protocol for immunity, and she said she had a really bad infection. She put it on, and she started to feel much better like several hours later. And she said they're very easy to apply, they work, and I loved what she said here, they add beauty to her earring collection. So they're very subtle, but they're really cute when they're on. That's one of the things I read in a lot of the different reviews. Morgan, she says very easy instructions. They come with you have what's a starter kit, and then there are refills, right? So
Yeah.
you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So the ear seed kits that we have look like this. And inside you've got your ear seeds just in this sleeve, so it protects them really nicely. And we have a leaflet here, and the leaflet tells you what ear seeds are, how to apply them, gives you step-by-step instructions. And then we've also got these ear maps for the different protocols. So there are 6 protocols within this leaflet for anxiety, stress, immunity, focus and memory, headaches, and digestion. And then on the website, we've also got the protocols for sleep and for fatigue, because a lot of our audience really said they needed help in those areas.
Yeah, and fatigue is one of the things that a lot of the lupus patients battle with on a daily basis. So I'm glad that's a protocol in there. So that's one of the things Morgan said, was that they were very effective in controlling her stress and anxiety. And Sophia, I really like this one, because Sophia said that initially she was slightly skeptical, and she wasn't sure what to expect, but she went ahead and ordered, and that it works wonders. And I'm reading her words. It works wonders. She used the anxiety and stress protocol. They both helped her to feel more calm, more balanced, and in control. And her final words were, "Who would have thought that these gorgeous ear seeds would have such an impact?" Jessica, let me read one more. Jessica said, "I just received my second order, which arrived promptly. I'm using the stress, anxiety, and sleep protocol, and I've noticed a huge improvement to my overall sleep quality. And she also mentioned that they come in 24 karat or silver plated. So if if your jewelry is more in the silver side, then you might want to get the silver plated. Or if you have a collection of both, then get a set of both, and that way you can match your air seeds to your earrings that you're wearing on that particular day, right? So I just really loved the different reviews that that I was reading. And you mentioned the fatigue protocol. This one, it says it can reduce inflammation, can calm the nervous system, and increase energy levels. And I think that's pretty much kind of covers everything that those of us in the lupus community really need. But here's a question that a lot of them will probably have is, how can a tiny thing like an ear seed help to reduce the inflammation? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So as I said, there are certain points on the ear which correspond to different body parts, and inflammation is massive, especially for people who have got chronic illness. So I believe it's with the adrenals. There's a certain spot there which you can pop an ear seed on, and yeah, it will help to decrease inflammation in the body.
Right, and the little pamphlet comes with all of the diagrams and exactly where to place the air seeds for whatever protocol, right? So that's really, really good.
Yeah,
The sleep protocol.
we can also do like custom protocols. So if anybody is struggling with a specific condition that isn't mentioned in the leaflet or on the website, then feel free to get in touch, and I'll work with my Chinese doctor to find the specific points which you need to apply the ear seeds on.
That's amazing. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. One of the things I did write down is that the sleep protocol is probably one of your more popular ones, right? Because a lot of people tend to battle with that. All right, so I know that. Okay, for me, what I'm going to do is I am going to order a set. I tend to like silver, so mine's going to be the silver plated one, and I am going to work with it as far as the tinnitus. Now, I know there's not really a tinnitus protocol, right? So I am going to come up with one. I'm going to work with it and see if I can create one that will help others who are battling with tinnitus. Now, I've had people tell me, tinnitus are just angels talking to you. I'm like, well, at times I would really like for the angels to get a little quieter, you know. But hey, so I'm going to work with them to come up with a protocol that I'll share with anyone who might be battling with tinnitus. My goal with this, with my Facebook page and my company, is to bring these types of alternative, and I say alternative, but really these should actually be like the true remedies. Pharmaceutical to me is the alternative. All right, these are remedies that have been worked with for thousands of years. I mean, the Chinese have been working with acupuncture and acupressure for thousands of years, right? And this, like Giselle said, these are needle free, so you don't have to worry about there being a needle going into your skin, because I think that's one of the things that people may be concerned about. So, can you tell us where can we order, or where can others order the air seeds from?
Yeah, so you can order them on our website, which is www.acuseeds.co.uk. And we've also got loads and loads of information and tips on Instagram. So our handle is just Acu Seeds. And we're also recently on TikTok as well. And our handle there is Acu Seeds UK. So there's loads and loads of free information on our social channels, loads of tips and tricks and videos to show you like how to apply them. So yeah, there's loads of information out there.
And okay, so I have a question that I kind of want people, if you're okay sharing, because you mentioned that air seeds helped you to heal from chronic fatigue syndrome, and there are some doctors really don't think that that's that's a thing that it really causes issues to people. But I know that there are others in the lupus community who do really battle with chronic fatigue syndrome. Can you give people an idea of how far you've come working with these air seeds? I mean, from when you were actually battling with CFS, how what were your symptoms? What was your daily life like compared to what we're looking at right now, which is, to me, you're the picture of health.
Thank you. Yeah, so in 2019, early 2019, I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. But I would say probably a year prior to that, I was feeling various symptoms, fatigue, muscle weakness, muscle pain, joint pain, headaches, digestive issues, brain fog, the whole plethora really of typical symptoms that would be associated with chronic fatigue syndrome. And I believe that the trigger for my fatigue syndrome was a virus. I had Epstein-Barr virus. It was a couple of years prior to diagnosis, but the symptoms didn't show up until, as I said, about a year before diagnosis. And the main trigger, as well as the viral load, was a really, really stressful time in my life. And I think stress is definitely a trigger for a lot of chronic illness as well, and emotional stress, physical stress, that kind of thing. And I was bedbound for a period of time, housebound for a period of time. I couldn't walk for more than 5 minutes without feeling so weak that I was going to fall on the floor. I was incredibly, incredibly sick. And what stressed me out more was going to the doctors and getting the diagnosis, but then them telling me that I would never recover, there was no treatment, and that I should just take some antidepressants, go home and sleep more. And for a young woman to hear these words, it's just absolutely devastating. I had my whole life ahead of me. I was in a really, really good job in advertising. I was a young woman who had, as I said, the whole world, my whole life ahead of me. But everything just came crashing down once I was diagnosed. So I went on a really personal healing journey. And I just researched the hell out of this illness. And I was so determined to get better and to recover. I documented everything on Instagram. So if anyone wants to have a look, my handle is Heal with Giselle. And that documents my journey from diagnosis through to full recovery from chronic fatigue syndrome. And initially, I incorporated a lot of dietary changes. I went to see a homeopath. I also took loads and loads of different supplements, focused on real rest, like meditation, visualization, did some very gentle stretching when I felt like I could. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't completely lifeless in bed. I wanted to at least try and do a very small amount of stretching just to keep my body moving and keep my lymphatic system working. But in terms of the diet and the supplementation changes, it only really took me so far with my recovery. After about 6 months, I say I was probably like 60% recovered, but it wasn't until I met my Chinese doctor that I was able to make a full recovery. And it was just incredible, really, to see the changes in me. I managed to get back to full-time work. I was living life, socializing, doing everything that I wanted to do. And when, after 12 months after diagnosis, I started running, and I'd never ran before in my life, but I just thought, you know what, I haven't been able to do this, so let's just give it a go, let's just try. And it was incredible. And every time I ran, I would just cry my eyes out in like pure elation that I was able to do this, that my body was able to do this now. So I started running, and then about a month later, I fell pregnant and just had the most amazing pregnancy and an amazing childbirth. And yeah, here I am today. My baby's 1. I recently started the business. I started when she was about 9 months old. And it's crazy, really, to think that even though I was sleep deprived, on my feet all day with my baby, that I was able to come up with the concept. I was able to work with a designer to do the website, the design work, sort out all the suppliers and everything, and then finally launch in November. So yeah, I'm really, really proud of where I've come, and I just want to give hope to like all the other women who are struggling with chronic illness and who have been told by all the doctors that they will never recover and that they can't do anything for their symptoms and they can only give them pharmaceutical medication. I really want them to know that there are alternatives out there and there are natural ways to heal.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Giselle, because that's one of the things that I was told was I would never recover from lupus, that I would have it for the rest of my life. I would be on medication for the rest of my life. And I thought, no, that's not happening. That is not happening. And I did the same thing, went on a search for more natural ways to heal. And here we are, both of us sitting in front of you, both healed from, because I have documentation to show that there's no evidence of lupus in my body right now. So that's so thank you for sharing your story, because I know that a lot of people out there really need to hear that. I've been saying it, but when you hear it from other people, there are other natural ways, there are alternative ways of healing. You don't have to be on pharmaceutical meds. Now, if you are on pharmaceutical meds, let me say this: please don't go getting rid of your pharmaceutical medications before you talk to your doctor. You've got to put that out there. Okay. So this is going to be recorded. It is recorded. You'll be able to come back and rewatch it. We're going to post the links where you can contact Giselle, where you can order the Acu Seeds from, and I would love to hear your feedback. Once you get them and you try them out, let us know what protocol you worked with, how did that help the particular condition that you or issue that you were trying to get relief from. Yes, please send feedback, because we want to hear. And Giselle, I am so proud of you. I mean, you only launched this back in 2021, end of 2021, right? Yeah. So that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, this is going to be all over my social media. I am very adamant about getting other people to know that this is an alternative, because I have talked about things like reflexology before, because that's one of the things I worked with, and reflexology is very similar to what's considered auricle acupressure, acupuncture, where the feet are considered to be like a microcosm or microsystem of the entire body. And that's one of the things that I work with regularly, or is with reflexology. So thank you for bringing this amazing item. I am going to place an order so that I can go ahead and get the tinnitus protocol worked on. But in the meantime, please go and support. Number one, it's a small business, and number two, this is an amazing, and I'm saying alternative because that's the term that's popular, but this is really just natural medicine. Okay, so thank you, Giselle, for coming on the show, for allowing me to interview you, for sharing your amazing product. And I'm sure that we're going to be hearing a lot more about the Acu Seeds and about Giselle in the near future.
Thank you so
those
much.
of you who are watching, thank you so much for being here. If you are watching the replay, thank you for being here on the replay as well. And go ahead and check out Giselle on Instagram, where she said she's healed with Giselle. And she also has a website on, you have a page on Facebook called Acu Seeds, correct?
Yeah.
But you also have the website.
Yeah.
Right. So please go ahead and check her out. And Kathleen says, very informative session. Thank you. Yes, I learned a lot here today, Kathleen. So I'm sure that a lot of people, when they watch the video, Giselle, they're going to be very keenly interested in this, because number one, it's, when they hear the term when you hear the term acupuncture, we automatically think needles. But this is more like just a tiny little seed or a bead that presses into certain areas that give you the relief without the needles. All right. So we'll see you again real soon, Giselle, because I know once I try, I want to come on with you again and kind of give my feedback with you here. So thank you so much again for being here. And thank you all, those of you who are watching. We'll see you again real soon on another episode of, and I did not name the show, but I'm sure I'll come up with a name. But this is Gina from Sage and Time Enterprises. I'm a complementary therapist practitioner, which basically means that I worked with a lot of different therapies, ranging from reflexology to drumming to essential oils to herbs, a lot of different natural remedies, and I bring those different remedies to share with others. And I'm going to be doing shows like this on a regular basis, bringing other people on to share, their expertise in different alternative or complementary therapies. So I will see you again real soon. I go live often. Let's just put it that way. Just watch out for the notifications, and see you again. Thank you again, Giselle. I really do
Thank you so
appreciate you being
much.
here.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye.